Then I joined a news conference he called.
Right.
I was not aware of it. But you see, I was suckered into it. Ernie, come in. Then the newspaper guys said, Ernie, where were you? And I said, I just came from the OPP. I turned the paper over to them, that from now on they are responsible for what is happening on my place. Then the police came. Next day or so, or 3, 4, 5 days later, I don't remember now, I signed papers to authorize them to arrest anybody who's on my property without my permission.
Right.
But now I have to go back to June 28, and I left the Cayuga detachment, and next day I got a phone call that I have to go. It was a Sunday. I could be looking at a calendar. That I have to go back to the detachment, go on video camera to give the authorization to the OPP to act on my behalf, to remove the occupiers and their belongings. But what did the OPP do? Finally, it took a judge court order to remove the smoke shop. The OPP didn't do anything other than they came in on the 9th of July last year, 2009, and they arrested Boots and 2 of his sons. There were others there. Probably his daughter used to be here, and the girl, the woman from the States, but they just grabbed Boots and his 2 sons and took him away. On the 10th of July, I went to the courthouse to find out what's going on. And then he was released on $4,000 bail. Conditional discharge, that he is not allowed to come more than 100 meters. It is 300 feet to my property. And he's not allowed to come and he's not allowed to communicate with me. And other things. You see, I was not provided with this. I found this out from the newspaper reporter. The police never told me anything. So he was released around noon or maybe 1 o'clock. I assume the paperwork to be done and the money was deposited, etc. He was released from custody on the 10th of July last year, 2009.
Right.
And way before sunset, Boots and the Indian woman from the state of Michigan, they were coming in. She was driving the car. Boots was sitting on the front seat, and he pulled his baseball cap down and he slid down on the seat, and they came in, and the teepee was there, and he parked the car between the teepee and the trees. I watched this from, I was out on the front and I saw this. And then I went on the back and do things. And Boots Powless was there. He slept in a teepee with his squaw, his woman,
Right.
from the state of Michigan. The day he was released from custody, and every single day he was there. 10 days later, Boots was driving in and out with his car. And the police is driving by 10, 15 times a day. Wherever they go, I don't know. And they don't even look at Boots. And they all know that Boots Powless is out on bail. And they all knew the conditions, that he's not allowed to come closer than 300 feet to my property. And the day he was released from custody, he was sleeping in a teepee. The next day he was there, and then I talked with him openly. And 10 days later, he was driving in and out. There was a couple of occasions. Probably he went to Tim Horton, and he was coming home, but the traffic was coming up from Hagersville. And Boots has to stop and wait and signal to turn in. 2 cars behind him, there's a OPP cruiser, and everybody is standing because he blocked, you know, the traffic was blocked. And finally it was, the traffic was all cleared. Boots pulled in, and the traffic was going, and the OPP was going. The OPP didn't do anything other than they grabbed him and they arrested him, and next day he was back. Boots Powless occupied my land from the 10th, when he was released from custody on the 10th of July 2009, until he was arrested. He was thrown in jail. And then the judge set the bail next day or so, and the bail money didn't come. His sister didn't show up with the bail money, so the judge sent him back into jail for the weekend.
Right.
So he was in jail for 5 days. And when he got out of jail, he was back again. And the police doesn't do anything about it. They know what his bail condition was. Now, I'd like to go back to the 10th of July 2009, when he was released from custody, and then he came back and occupied every single day of that 6 months.
Sure.
But when he got out of the courthouse, I was there, but because of my bad hearing, I didn't hear what the judge was setting the bail condition, so the judge got up and walked out, and everybody, so I got out and I came home.
Right.
And then I saw the pictures of it in the newspaper. So when Boots got out of the courthouse, his girlfriend, Jackie, the blonde woman from Brantford, is the one who bailed him out. And then he made a statement to the Turtle Island newspaper that I cooked up the whole thing because I want the government to buy me out. And he's talking that I keep saying, buy me out, and I have the newspaper.
Right.
And when I heard this, because the paper came out a few days later, and it was in a paper, and I had the copy. But when I got home from the courthouse, the reporter came from a Turtle Island News who was at the courthouse. And I talked with her, and she asked me that, Ernie, did you invite him? And I said, never. And she told me that Boots said that you tried the government to buy you out, and I said, never. And when she told me this, I was stunned, you know.
Yeah.
That how can he say that? There has never been any conversation like that. And this is a woman, her name is Erin Tolley. Later on, I don't know when, I asked her that, Erin, tell me how I responded to it when you told me that Boots told you, the newspaper reporter, that I cooked up the whole thing. And she said, you were stunned and you were shocked. This is the truth. So Boots was in occupying my land from the first week of June. He was arrested on the 9th of July. He was released from custody on the 10th of July. And before sunset he was already on my property all the way until he was arrested again.
When was that he was arrested?
28. What happened? On the 28th of October of last year, I was out on the front. He picked up, went to see if I have mail in a mailbox.
Right.
And I was coming in and Boots was out and his woman, Colleen, this American Indian. I would say, how are you doing? And, you know, talk. And the food catering SUV, or small, not pickup truck, but it's a big SUV.
Right.
The food catering used to come in and bring him, he buys food for him. And prior to this, once I was there, and he says, Ernie, why don't you buy some? $5, you got a good spaghetti. And I bought one. A little plastic styrofoam container.
Right.
I bought one. And on the 28th of October, the SUV came in, and Boots and his woman, they bought something, and he says, Ernie, why don't you buy some? This is nice, good hot food. So I bought something, whatever it was, hot sandwich or something. And we went into the smoke shop. The three of us, we ate then, whatever it was. And I was talking with Boots. And I said, Boots, I'm quoting word by word. And I said, you better get organized because the winter is coming. You're not going to stay here for the winter. You'll have to move. Go in peace. Don't wait until I remove you, because you will not stay here for the winter. And then he started his rhetorics. So this is my land. This is a stolen land. It belongs to me. He was getting angry. And he told me that you are trespassing on this property. You have to pack up and get the hell out of here. Boots said, I'm quoting in word by word, I am going to serve you with a paper from the Six Nations. Or the chiefs of the Confederacy will sign a paper and it will be stamped that this land belongs to them. And I am trespassing and I have to pack up and get out of here. And I said, Boots, you bring me that paper, and then I get my personal possession, put him in a car, and I leave. I lock the door and I leave the key in it, and you take over, or whoever wants to take over. But you bring me the paper. And we talked more and more, angrily, and he said that from now on, the fight is between you and I. And I start fighting, and soon there will be a dead man over there. Nothing at my house. This is inside the smoke shop. And I said, Boots, you're threatening me. And I turned around and I walked out. At the door I said, Colleen, his woman, this American Indian. Yeah. Colleen, you come with me, please. I'm walking out and she got out and she's coming after me. We came in here. I turned on a computer and I started surfing and I clicked on the Wortman case in Hagersville. You know of it.
I do.
And I surfed down, I scrolled down to the ruling of Justice Henderson that Mr. Wortman is the sole owner of that property.